Hey, it's DDD. Excuse me if you guys feel like you can't really see me too well. It's the lighting in this room. But welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be reviewing the women's triple threat match from the first episode of NXT in 2017. Now, before I get into my review, I want to give a quick shout out to my first couple real subscribers, Roderick Holloman. Shout out to you. I want to put you over as a day one because you were our first comment, our first subscribe, everything, probably our first video like. So I really appreciate the support that you've been giving to me and my big sister who's made a few guest appearances in my videos. So just all I can say is thank you again and keep watching, and I really appreciate the support. Also, I want to give a quick shout out to BK Soldier 2010. I seen you subscribe to me too, so I appreciate it because it seems almost as though you did it just from watching one video and one video alone. And usually people, they need to like watch all your videos to get like, or most of them anyway, to get a generalization of, whether they feel like you're someone they want to really keep up with or not. So I just really appreciate the support, and hopefully there's more to come. But anyways, getting into what I'm going to talk about. The three women competing in this match were Liv Morgan, Billie Kay, and Ember Moon. Now, when this match was first announced, I was here for it from rip. Personally, I enjoy multi-person matches. The pace for them is usually steady for the most part, and they're fun. Out of the three women, Ember is my favorite and was obvious choice to win the match. I heard a rumor that this was supposed to be a number one contenders match of sorts, which I thought made sense. But after not hearing any mention of a new number one contender, I just accepted it as a normal triple threat. Reason I'm fine with this is because they've been teasing Asuka versus Nikki Storm for a little bit now, which I'm here for the record. I love Asuka, and I really like this psycho gimmick Nikki has with Sanity. So I think they have a good dynamic going on, and I'm looking forward to see how they perform together. Getting back on topic, in regards to the match, I liked it. I thought it was pretty decent. The crowd was really into it, albeit they were in Billie's hometown, and I still thought it was pretty cool because women's matches still get frowned upon sometimes, unfortunately. I like the storytelling in this match. All three women looked good, especially Billie, which makes sense since it was her hometown. In the beginning of the match, Ember and Liv, being the baby faces in the match, attempted to shake hands and show sportsmanship, but the hometown girl was not here for it and slapped both their hands down and let them know she means business. The two faces went after Billie, who, in typical cowardly heel fashion, escaped the ring to avoid both of them for the time being. The crowd even addressed that move and chanted "Coward" to Billie, which I thought was pretty cool. Just because it was her hometown didn't mean they were gonna give her a freebie. Ember and Liv then had some decent back and forth action for a little bit, which I was here for because we've never seen these two face off. And while it may not have been an interaction most fans were like dying to see, I love face versus face matchups because it's about pure athleticism most of the time, and both competitors get to show off. Eventually, Billie comes back in and begins dominating most of this match, making easy work of Liv for the most part and getting the upper hand on Ember Moon. Now, I have two favorite spots from this match. They both involve Billie, coincidentally. The first one being where Liv attempts to deliver a running attack towards Billie while she was leaning on the ropes, but Billie counters and delivers a back body drop to Morgan on the apron and to the outside of the ring. I thought this spot was cool because of how risky it looked, and Liv literally hit her back on the ring apron, the most unforgiving part of the ring. The second, and my most favorite spot in the match, was the finish. Eventually, it became fair game again, and all three competitors were going at it. Liv Morgan got Ember up on the mid-turnbuckle and was attempting a superplex. However, Ember would fight back to prevent it. Billie soon inserts herself back in, powerbombs Liv off the middle rope, and gives one last effort to win by going for the pin, but Liv kicks out. Barely. Liv rose to the outside, and Billie quickly realized afterwards that she still had one more woman to deal with. Ember Moon. She inched her way up to the top rope and performed a beautiful looking eclipse onto the Aussie and got the 1, 2, 3. So again, I did like the match overall. I can't remember any sloppy or botchy moments that like especially stood out. The only thing I will say is when Ember performed her springboard crossbody to Liv, the way she sold it made it look not as believable. But I'm not gonna fuss about it or anything because not only is Morgan green in general, she's also a skinny woman. So I expect the selling to be different than say a female superstar who has more weight. I think this triple threat was a good way to bring in the new year for the regrowing NXT women's division. These ladies collectively told a story together and put on a decent performance. What I really liked about the finish here is that typically the spot all three women were going for is known to be the Tower of Doom, which sometimes can be overused in my opinion. We've seen it several times in women's matches especially. So the fact that it was kind of set up differently, I really liked. Liv didn't take Ember down with her when Billie did the powerbomb, and that's usually how it goes. When Billie was slamming down Liv for the powerbomb, I guess that was when Liv was supposed to really get the superplex on Ember, but she didn't. And it allowed Ember to help her get to the top rope and perfectly set up for her one-of-a-kind finishing maneuver, which Billie did a really good job of selling, by the way. She sold that better there than she did when they had their first singles match at TakeOver Brooklyn, too. She didn't sell it bad there. She did a good job of selling it there, too, but I thought in this match she sold it even better. So now that I know it's not a number one contenders match, I guess it doesn't mean a whole lot. I think it was just something fun to ring in the new year and also probably test Liv Morgan's progress in the ring, being as though she is the least experienced out of the three right now. There's rumors going around saying that management is actually considering promoting her to the main roster soon, more specifically the Raw brand. Now, I just want to give my quick opinion on this because I do have mixed feelings on it. The reason why I have mixed feelings is because, well, I want to get into, I guess, to get the negative out the way. I still feel like Liv is, like I said, she's green. I don't know if she's exactly ready for the main roster yet. So there's my concern as far as that, for one. And then two, I also question why they're putting her on the Raw brand. I honestly feel like SmackDown would be a better fit for her. To be honest, I feel like, some fans may disagree with me. There's some fans who may agree with me when I say this, but I feel like Raw is obviously the more dominant show when it comes to the women, or the show that is put over the most as having the best women's wrestling in the company. And not that I'm just saying like, oh, just screw Liv Morgan, but she's not there yet. I don't see her as a Raw level girl. For SmackDown, I feel like that's more so for women who maybe aren't the best in the ring, but they're still kind of like developing and going along as they go, which is why I prefer SmackDown, because it is the land of opportunity. People get opportunities, they're involved in stories even if they're not competing for the title necessarily. So I felt like that would have been a really good place for Liv Morgan to like stretch her wings first and just know what it's like to be on the main roster for a little bit. And then if they really wanted her on Raw, I don't know, they could have just let her stay on SmackDown for a good year and then traded her to Raw, I guess, the next draft or whatever. But I guess that's thinking really far ahead. I don't know. I don't know what WWE exactly has in mind, because the rumor started when Liv Morgan actually teamed with Sasha Banks and Billie for a Raw house show 6-woman tag match. I forget exactly who they were competing against, but she was teaming with Sasha and Billie. And usually when management has an NXT superstar compete on a main roster home show, live show, whatever you want to call it, house show, it's because they're considering bringing them up to the main roster and they want to test, like, get a feel for how they do. It's not always a guarantee that they're going to get called up, because it's happened at other times before and people weren't immediately called up. So we'll see what happens. Either way, I'm here. I'm not going to hate on it if she gets called up, but I would kind of think it's a little too premature. Now, the positive that I do see in it is I'm thinking, okay, For those of you who don't know, Liv Morgan and Enzo Amore actually date in real life outside of WWE, and he's on Raw. So what I was thinking is maybe they want to bring Liv Morgan up, maybe to take Carmella's role as far as like managing the team, or at least really being into Enzo because that's her real life boyfriend. Um, or fiance, maybe, if I'm not mistaken. They might be engaged. I might be a little too far ahead by saying that, but I know they're at least dating. But I was thinking maybe she's gonna come in to like help him with this whole Rusev story with Lana, because Lana's been like a huge part of like Enzo's torture too. So I figured maybe she would come in to be an equalizer to Lana, who's been training a lot more, and I guess she's really interested in trying to give an in-ring career a go. So I was thinking that maybe Liv Morgan was going to be called up to the main roster to maybe just help Lana get her foot in the door as far as that. That was the positive that I saw in that after I really sat and thought, because I was really pondering as to like what they would do with her or why they're calling her up. Because to be honest, besides that, if they just wanted to like put her in the division just to say, hey, we have a new female superstar, I don't really see her going too far, especially on the Raw brand. I just feel like she would end up becoming like a jobber or something to the women who they believe are more superior, like Charlotte, Nia Jax. And that's it, really. I guess they're like the two real dominant heels right now that we have on Raw for the women's division that I feel like WWE in a way wants to protect. Yeah, so I just wanted to say that really quickly about Liv Morgan. Besides that, if I'm just gonna talk about where I think the NXT Women's Division is headed, but beyond that, I did see that apparently next week is supposed to be Asuka promo. She's supposed to be coming to the ring, and I guess she's going to. I'm just guessing she's going to maybe brag or be cocky, a little arrogant about how she's the longest reigning NXT Women's Champion. She's going to plug that, talk about how she's so undefeated and this, that, and the third. And then here is where I believe she will finally get interrupted by Nikki Storm, and that's gonna start their rivalry to have their takeover match at the takeover coming up at the end of this month before the Rumble. And obviously there, I believe Asuka will retain against Nikki. I believe it will be a good match. I'm hoping for it to be. I'm just got this feeling that it's going to be a good match. And I really like Nikki. I really like Nikki Storm. I love her character. So I'm very interested to see what a feud between them could look like, interaction, a match. I'm just so here for it. So yes, I predict that Asuka will retain there, and Nikki Storm will probably be the like last real opponent that Asuka faces. I feel like Billie Kay and Peyton Royce, she's gonna face them on like some random episode of NXT and destroy them. I mean, I would like for them to have a good showing, but I don't know why I just get this gut feeling that like Asuka's gonna just like run through them. But we'll see. They may actually have a good showing. But I do kind of see that just being on like a random episode of NXT, whereas though they'll want to give Nikki Storm the takeover match. Because we do have to consider the possibility that we really don't know yet. Billie Kay and Peyton Royce could be the ones to interrupt Asuka, or it could be Nikki Storm. Then again, it could be all three. Billie Kay and Peyton Royce could come out first, stake their claim, and then Nikki could do the same, and then it ends up being a fatal four-way. I'm here for that. I've heard some fans throwing that idea around, so I would actually prefer that than to just see Asuka versus Nikki Storm. I would like to see that too, but the fatal four-way, that sounds even way more interesting, because then we get to see the possibility of tension between Billie and Peyton. I don't think they should get broken up right away, but because I feel like they didn't really get to establish themselves too much as a duo, but I'm here for them to still interact and have a moment where they really wrestle and get down. I'm just so here for it. So either way, whatever the match is, I definitely see Asuka still retaining in the end. I feel like a fatal four-way makes more sense, only because Asuka has been like constantly retaining her title in singles matches. So it's like, okay, why not stack the deck against her and, you know what I mean, have the odds against her and still have her come out on top to make her look that much more stronger. And then once the next takeover rolls around before WrestleMania, my voice cracked there. But once the next takeover rolls around, I believe that's where Ember will finally take the title, and it'll really make her look good because Asuka's been undefeated for so long, which I like. I really like Asuka's winning streak, by the way. I know some people don't like it. I feel like they don't just because it's repetitive. It's the same thing over and over again. But if you really look at the type of competitor Asuka is, it makes sense for her to be undefeated. I don't think anyone beating her would have really been too believable, except Billie. And I never really wanted even Billie to beat Asuka. I was completely, totally fine with Asuka being undefeated until, like most people are assuming, Ember Moon takes the title from her. So, yeah, this has been my review for NXT. This is my first actual NXT review. And I'm glad because it's the first one of this year, so I feel like I'm doing it right. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing the progress that happens in the future of NXT's women's division. I feel like these next couple of takeovers that are coming up, we're really going to start getting some juicy build and, matchups, and things are going to really start coming to a head. So, again, I'm excited to see where everything goes as far as that. And like everyone else is predicting and believing, I do believe that Ember Moon will be the one to finally knock Asuka off her throne. She is ready for Asuka. So on that note, I'm going to end the video. Don't forget to please comment if you agree with something I'm saying and you just want to give me a right on, brother. Even if you disagree and you want to tell me what you think may happen, or you just disagree with something I said regarding the match, my review. Comment your ideas, just however you feel. Don't be afraid to comment. Like the video if you like my video. You like what I said. You like my perspective on the match and what I said. And subscribe for more videos. So, until next time, when I'm back for more than likely my Raw reaction or review, always remember, Ember starts a fire, Ember frees the flame.